This clip covers how to frame a quote, summary, or a paraphrase into your reading. When we use a source, we know why we're using it, why it fits into our essay at the spot where we place it, and in an argument or persuasive essay, why we think the source provides strong support. We've gone through a search process, finding the sources, reading them, evaluating their validity, the author's biases, and ultimately, we've selected what we think is the most authoritative and persuasive information available to us. So when we drop a quote or summary into a text, we have a lot of context and reasoning that goes along with it. However, readers, our audience, come into our writing having to find their way along and make sense of what they are reading as they go. When they come across information from sources, they do not have all that accompanying context to support their meaning making. In short, you know what's in your head when you use that quote or summary, but you need to furnish some help or some orientation to the reader in understanding how that information fits and functions in your writing. One fairly common, simple way and effective way to help the reader along is a technique called framing. You can think of it as building a structure around the quoted or summarized information to help support its use in your work. The main resource for this technique is the document They Say, I Say, plus transitions, adapted from Graf and Birkenstein. The document's in the Reading and Guides folder that's linked through the course calendar. Framing a source requires 3 steps. Introducing the source, and there are specific ways to do that in academic writing, using the source through quoting or summarizing, and explaining or elaborating on the meaning of the source materials. Let's start with introducing. There are some templates for introducing summarized materials. For each type of examples we'll look at, there are more on the sheet in the Reading Guides folder. So, in these templates, X is the author's name, followed by some possible introductory wordings. The line is for the information taken from the source, and the form of the parenthetical citation is at the end of the sentence. When you introduce your reader to an author in an academic essay, use either the first name and last names or just the last name of the author. Here you can see the same strategy applied to material quoted directly from the source as indicated by the quotation marks. Once you've introduced and incorporated the source material, there's still work to do by building the lower part of that frame. This explanation helps you to make sure the material fits and functions in your essay, and it lets your reader better understand as well. Again, here are templates that provide some starter phrases to move your reader into your explanation. This lower part of the frame is important to support your selection and use of sources. Let's look at a student example. Here you can see the writer introduces us efficiently to the genre of the source, the name of the article, and the author, then moves to a direct quote and completes the frame with paraphrasing in relation to a personal experience. Remember that these templates are not a strict formula. Framing can and should vary, but what's important for this essay is to keep the idea of framing in mind and to consciously use framing as you write. Each time you use a source, you should ask yourself, how should I frame this in a way that's the most helpful to the reader and most helpful in persuading the reader?